Hey guys, if you haven't been watching my stream, you probably haven't noticed that the last week I've spent hours and hours investigating a performance problem that some people are having. And at this point, I'm about to give up. I've probably spent 6 hours trying to reproduce this problem. It really sounds like it's one of those it's not my fault, but it's my problem bugs. But nevertheless, we've been trying our damnedest to fix it. So at this point, I'm going to reach out to you guys to try and get some help. So if you have a high-end NVIDIA video card, so probably a 980 series, 980 or better, or a 10 series, so 1070, 1080, this video is for you. So what some people have been seeing is they'll go and play Warframe, they'll play a mission, and their frame rate will get worse and worse and worse. And it doesn't really make sense that it's getting worse. And the curious thing is it doesn't recover even when they go back and start a new mission. So to find out if you have this problem, I'm going to walk you through some steps that you can do to tell us what the secret is, because there's going to be some secret that we haven't figured out what it is. It's going to be some add-on, some overlay, some third-party piece of software, I don't know, some nuance to what people are doing that can have this problem versus what I can't do, because I've been trying to do it for days. So here's how you do it. You want to help, you want to play along, this is what you do. First thing is you need to go and turn off Vsync. And the reason we're going to do this, just for this test, you usually want to leave it on auto, so I'm turning it off. Auto is what you normally want. Basically, it'll only Vsync when it's safe to Vsync, and if it's going to hurt performance, then it just turns it off. So it's generally auto is what you want, but for the purpose of this test, we want to run as fast as possible, even though it's going to make your machine hot, and this is not something you want to do all the time. We want to do it just for this test so that we can see the numbers as accurately as possible. So turn off Vsync, that's step one. All right, and then the other thing you want to have is, I think it's under display, no, HUD. Show FPS, so this guy down here. And the reason we want to see this is if you've used this before, you can see that there's at the bottom corner there's rate, time, and RAM. Now we're not going to worry about the rate or RAM because we're pro, and pro people care about frame time, not frame rate. So frame time is the inverse of frame rate, and we're going to look at it right here. I'm running at about 2 milliseconds. Again, it moves around a lot, so I'm going to stare at it and let my peripheral vision relax and say, okay, it's about 2 milliseconds. And what we're going to do here, for the purpose of this test, is I'm going to go in your set. All right, I'm going to go to this spot here in the floor, and I'm going to stare at the floor for a second. Now, there's nothing else going on. I don't have overlays. Ordis isn't talking at me. My operator isn't talking to me. It's as fast as it's going to get. I'm looking at the floor, and I look down, and I look at my frame time. My frame time is about 1.5 milliseconds. Call it 2, call it 1.5, whatever. I'm going to write that down. 1.5 milliseconds. Awesome. So that's my starting time. Then I'm going to set my mode to solo. We want to do this solo, so you got to get your big boy pants on. We're going to go to Mercury, and we're going to go to Apollodorus. Everyone's favorite. Used to be Grenier, now it's infested. I'm not even mad. And you're going to do Apollodorus solo survival for about as long as you can. 20 minutes, 30 minutes would be perfect. Whether you succeed or fail doesn't matter. As long as you can stay in there and kill a whole bunch of infested. And the nice thing about infested is they have a lot of PhysX effects. And I suppose I should have mentioned that earlier. You have to have PhysX effects on to see those cool sparks. And in fact, I can just show you that while I'm testing here. So when you have PhysX effects enabled, things like the Jat Katag, when you do a ground slam, you'll see the sparks bounce. The sparks that bounce off, or the blood droplets that bounce off of infested enemies. Those are all PhysX effects, and we want to make sure that you've got all the settings turned on nice and high so that we can sort of identify what the problem is. And once we've reproduced it, then we can start turning things off and try to rule out suspects. So you're going to sit around, you're going to play Apollodorus for 20 minutes, half an hour. I think I did 40 minutes last night. I've used dev cheats to go even farther and just let the game soak and kill infested over and over again for hours and hours. So you kill this. Well, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. Oh, there you go. So PhysX effects, I see them hitting the ground. Awesome. So I know I have PhysX on. I know it's working. Running DirectX 11. Awesome. So play this mission for half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. If you have the problem, as we've seen, you'll probably start to feel it really soon. But just to be sure, to be thorough, do half an hour. Then after you get out, so I'm just going to bail because I'm casual. We're going to go back to the place on the set that I was staring at. I'm going to look at the floor again. And, yeah, turn all that crap off. Cool. Look at my frame time. Let everything settle. 1.5, 2 milliseconds. Yeah, it's about 2 milliseconds. So I haven't really seen any difference. And maybe it's a half millisecond more. I don't know. I doubt it. If you've experienced the bug that we're chasing, this severe performance problem that has a whole bunch of people angry, you'll notice that as you play that mission, your frame time will get worse and worse, and your frame time will be like, you know, it'll start at 11. By the time you're done the mission, it'll be 30 or 40 milliseconds of frame, which is terrible. And then you'll go back to the set, and we're going to look at your frame time as you're staring at the floor at that same spot, and it's still going to be terrible. And that's perfect. You've found the problem. You found a corpse. You found evidence of the murder. Now we need to figure out who did it. So we have no way of I don't have personally no way of actually reproducing this problem. I've been trying for days. I've run all sorts of stress tests. I've run automated stress tests for hours at a time. I can't fix it if I can't reproduce it. I can't even say I can fix it because I don't even think it's our fault. But I can't even diagnose the patient if I can't find a body. So if you want to help out with this, if you have a good video card, a 9 series or a 10 series, a GTX video card, go and run Apollodorus. Like I said, turn off Vsync, turn PhysX effects on, turn everything on, make it look as good as possible because you got a good video card, you can afford it. Run windowed, run full screen, whatever you like, I don't care. Run and mark your frame time down before you do the mission. Go run half an hour, come back to your ship, mark your frame time. If it's the same, high five. You can respond to this thread and say, works for me, nothing no problems here. And that's great. I mean, that's good to have that reassurance that the world isn't on fire and that it's just a few people. If you can reproduce this problem, if you do get back to your ship and your frame time is fucking terrible, I want to hear about it. And that's when we're going to start doing tests. We're going to start saying, okay, what Windows version are you running? What was your driver version? Have you run Windows Update recently? Are you playing through Steam? Are you playing with the Discord overlay? Like, let's start ruling out suspects, turning crap off. One person has had success turning off PhysX effects, but a bunch of other people have run it just fine with PhysX effects. So we don't really have enough evidence to convict any particular suspect at the moment. So that's why I'm turning to you guys. If you can reproduce it, comment on the thread. If you can't, well, that's fine. And then we'll start turning things off, repeating the test, and going from there. So I really appreciate your help. Thanks a lot, guys, in advance, and hopefully we can figure this out.